And welcome to my Rack Demo 2 presentation. Now, what I've done here is I've actually completely configured a medusa for you, and that's what we are looking at here. And let's look at the longbow here. It's just the regular, garden variety attack that we see in the compendium, but I've stripped out the ongoing poison and the fortitude penalty, and I put them in this. That'll be secondary right here, so let's take a look at that. So here's the power card, and I'm going to describe the changes that I made here because they're important. The controller was already put in there. I put the 10 in there just for show. That doesn't really affect any gameplay. It makes it look good. And here are the two conditions. And I put range 20-40 because we need that to target the first target that we made, because we have to make it identical to the attack there, because otherwise we won't be able to reach the guy. And the rest of this is pretty straightforward. You know what, let's take a closer look at the conditions. Here we see ongoing poison, defense penalty. Configured just the way you'd expect, save ends, save ends. Let's look at this for a bit and see the options here. The blank is just as in the regular rumble. That is assuming end of your next turn if you leave it blank. So choosing this, choosing that, same thing. Want to bring your attention to two things which are different than what you may be used to in Rumble, and you'll have to watch out for these when doing your own monster. No save. If you select that, it's permanent. So the guy will have permanent ongoing poison, which doesn't sound very good. So don't make that mistake. I mean, the import James Manhattan will do it for you. He'll set it to save ends. But if that's just for permanent things, it's no save. Special is, what that is the effect will end at the end of the current turn. So let's say you have a attack power that grants you a bonus, a +2 to attack, for example, just for that attack. We want to select special for that, because then it'll only last for that turn. So that's how that works. So no save, special, different behaviors. So make sure you take a note of that. Very, very important. So let's get out of there. And that is the LB secondary. Make sure all these other things are correct. And cancel there. Let's take a look at snaky hair now. I want to bring your attention to this. Basic attack, yes. This is not done by default when you import the power, as you know. So make sure you click that on yes, so we know the MPB will ask us for that charging question that that it'll ask for. The rest of this stuff is pretty standard. It was imported properly. Once again, we have the two save ends conditions going there. Keep that in mind. We got a save ends both situation happening there. So let's cancel out of that. Let's look at Petrifying Gaze. Now, here's something interesting. I haven't actually modified this. This is James Manhattan's import right here. They import all three conditions: slowed, immobilized, petrified. As you know, that's not the way it works. The guy doesn't get all those at once. It's if you fail against slowed, then you'll be immobilized, and you fail against that, you get petrified. But you know what? Let's leave it like that for now, and I'll explain why later. And that's about the size of it. So let's get out of here and go to the MPB. All right, so we've got the pre-made medusa here, which I did earlier. So let's get rid of those temporarily and bring in the medusa that we just did. This is the RP talk that we've just done. And you know what? Let's drag over, let's see, drag over a token here. And we go through this 3 steps that we talked about in the first rack demo. So double click, config, basic, change to the basic. Property set, very important. Don't forget to do that. Select both, F4, and nothing happens. Now, this is a bug in Map Tool, I'm sure, because if we go to the Setup Player Token macro under the rack group, and we edit it to, let's say, F6, and we try again, notice it works. Don't ask me why. That's a bug, I think. So we peel that one off, and let's make sure powers are unlocked. See, powers are unlocked. Click on our player token, Frankenstein's Lab, the switch. Okay. Let's look at what it asks us. It's saying possible save ends both, that's what SCB stands for Petrifying Gaze. Link slowed, immobilized, petrified together. What does this question mean? It's asking us to link these three effects together, to lump them all as the same, so they all end together. We don't want to do that, so let's just say cancel. Now it's saying possible save ends both detected for snaky hair. Do we want to link the defense penalty ongoing poison together? Yes, we do. So let's say OK for that. And it's asking us the same question for the longbow secondary that we talked about. So let's say OK for that as well. And we're done. Let's take a look what happened. Now, this may be scary, but we're going to actually go into the code and look what's going on here. This is the code that was generated for the longbow power. And as you can see, the MH range is 20, max range is 40, and it goes through all its parameters for the attack power, and then if there's a hit, it will go to the LB secondary. So basically that's what that means. Snaky hair, let's look at that. Very important here. Same thing, attack power is up there, it's a melee attack. It put this little M in here to indicate a melee basic, so that's why it'll ask us for the charging question. Here's the first register effect macro call line. Now what this is telling the framework, okay, we want something with state equals defense penalty, so that's the state it's going to put on the guy if it hits. The property is going to be fortitude, and we're going to modify it by -2. So you see how that works there? And token will be targets, which is what is returned by the attack power. Here's what's important. We have a second register effect line here. This is for the ongoing poison. Look at this. Link equals defense penalty. What it's doing here is it's linking this line back to that line. So we're telling the framework, okay, register effect ongoing poison, but you know what? This is linked to the defense penalty. So if this ends, that ends. So that's how that works. So you know what? Let's see it in action. And I've already done Petrifying Gaze, so let's get rid of those, and we'll just reload the old one because that has my fixed one in it. Let's unlock powers again because we don't want to do an actual encounter. That's not necessary at this point. So F4. And we're converting the hero here because we need somebody to fight. Now look at this, it's doing the hit effect that we talked about, prone for brutal whack. There goes the rumble token. Get rid of the tokens you're not going to be using. So we're going to delete the minion guys, and we're going to delete the villain guys. If you don't do that, the framework is going to give you an error because it's going to want to know why those two guys are in the battle. So we've got these two going here. It's time to do some damage. So we click on the Medusa Archer. Let's do a longbow attack. It automatically selects hero because it knows that's the only guy available, so it's smart enough to select him. 30, I think that's going to hit. Damage does 12 points. And here we go into LB secondary, so it's going to that linked power. And let's see if that hits. No, it doesn't. So we did get a hit in first and second. You know what, just to illustrate it, let's have her charge and do a sneaky hair attack. Yes, we're charging 35, yeah, probably. There goes the damage again. Now, look, he's got the fortitude defense penalty there. He's got the ongoing poison damage on him. Let's see if we can save against that. Health, effect saving throw. Defense penalty, fortitude, that's what it's calling the effect. And yeah, we want to save against that. Looks like we're going to make it. Watch very carefully. Look at these two states. Watch what happens when I say OK. Boom. Both effects are gone. That is the save ends both capability of the framework in action. Look down here in the chat. It confirms that both have indeed ended. So that's that. You know what? We haven't finished beating up on this poor guy yet. So let's move the medusa over here and move the A-boss over here. So we have a close blast 5 situation going on. It is 1, 2, 3 away, as you can see from the number below the A-boss. At will again. Let's do Petrifying Gaze. It knows to attack the hero. He's the only guy in range, 31. That's probably going to hit. And he gets affected by slowed. Let's look down in the chat here. -4 to speed. Yes, he is indeed slowed. Let's try and save against that. Effect saving throw. Yep. Oh, not looking good. 3. Watch carefully. Slowed effect is the only one now, and yes, it's bloodied as well. Let's say okay. Look at that. The slowed changed to immobilized. That ended. Immobilized began, as per the power description. Let's do it again. Oh, another bad roll. Let's look again. Look at immobilized. See what happens. Boom. Petrified. Too bad for our hero. He's one rough statue right now. So, yeah. So, as you can see, here is the failed save support in action. So that is how that works. If you want to know what's behind the code, then go to the section of the website which deals with the programmer's reference. It will explain to you how I did that. And that's about the size of it. Thank you very much for watching this demo. Talk to you later.